Okay, so now I'm starting to work on my cover, and I wish I had have shown ahead of time. I have like an old Wonder Book. I wish I could keep this. This was on the inside here. It says this is my Wonder Book, Charlene Allen, birthday 1972. So I had originally put this book together and I didn't end up making anything with it. So it was taped and the spine was put together, but, it was still raw. So what I've done is, this is some wrapping paper. It kind of went with my theme with the green. Not exactly, but I might still go over it. So I have used glue and some double-sided tape to fasten this. What I want here is to have nice edging. So if anything, you'll see that. So I folded it over. These have been glued and taped, and then I've trimmed the edges because really you want to have the least amount of paper as possible, because the more paper, the more easy it is to like ruffle or to have like, crumpling up a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and double side tape. This is some heavy duty tape. I really like it. It's a little bit more frustrating to work with because you have to pick the back off, but it works so well. So I continue to buy this type and I go through it like crazy. So I'm gonna give that a good amount on each side there. Come on. That's what I mean. It's a little bit frustrating to work with if you don't have nails. It doesn't come off as well, but you just gotta bear with it. There we go. I'm also gonna give it a nice good amount of glue. Oops, I missed that little piece. There we go. Just to make sure that this is not gonna go anywhere. I'm gonna pull as best I can. Hopefully there's no wrinkles. And I'll do the same on this side. And I always get my hands a little bit gluey there. Anything that's kind of coming up, I'll give it another little bit of glue. A little bit of paper towel there. So that's looking pretty good. I'm also going to take my brayer. I'm going to find where we're going to fold and just help it to fold a little bit, because that's where our spine's going to fold and we don't want anything to rip. So we got one and we got two now. I do see that there is a little bit of a ripple there, which I don't like, but we're going to go over that anyways. So that's going to be okay. But now our sides are going to be nice. I actually quite like that for the spine, so maybe we'll keep that. And then we're going to go over top with something else, as well as we're going to fill in this paper. Maybe I'll try and cut something out so that that can be shown. I think that's really pretty. So I'll be back. This is what I've decided for my inside cover here. We'll start with that. So I have these two nice pictures that I printed from my Etsy shop. I've used some scrapbooking paper in the back, and I've used some really thick washi tape. And then if you flip it over, this is a nice scrapbooking piece. It has like kind of like a leaf pattern on it, which I liked. And then again, I used some paper from my shop, and then I cut out just the head of Bambi, and I wanted it to stand out, so I put it on like a little, I don't know, just like a little, I don't know what you call that, a little piece of ephemera there that was, kind of makes it stand out. Also using some washi tape to kind of line that a bit. So I'm pretty happy with how it's looking so far. It's gonna fit quite nicely in, just like so. And so I am ready to start my stitching, which is really exciting. So I am going to show you how I put these books together. First of all, I make a guide. So this is my guide. As you can see, it lines up really good here. I want it to be able to fit into my spine, be a little bit smaller actually than my spine. So I made that guide, and I have 3 signatures in my book, so I have 3 going across, and I like to do 3 or 4 holes. For this one I'm going to do 3. So that's my guide. So what I've done here is I've taken these little tiny, I don't know where, oh here it is, little paper clips. I put them on, I lined it up properly, and this here is called an awl. If you don't know what this is called, it took me a really long time to figure out what this was. It's an awl. It's very sharp, and I have pierced through, you can see if you can kind of see the spine here. So I've gone ahead and done that already. Then what I do is I take the signature. This is my 3rd signature, and I'm using really long bobby pins. You can use paper clips, you can use whatever you like. I like the bobby pins because they're pretty long. So you're going to find the middle of your book. You want to clip that because you don't want your papers to move on you. Here's another one. I'm going to do it at the top. A couple more. I'm going to do it at the bottom. This is going to ensure that all my pages are going to stay exactly where I want them to. And then I'm also going to do some of the back pages. There. There. And there. So what I'll do next, I'm going to lay it flat. I'm going to take my guide. I'm going to try and line up the middle holes. I'm going to take a little pencil. Just make a little tiny mark. Take my awl. I'm going to poke through. Now listen, if you get too close and you poke your finger, it hurts. I have done it more than once. And I almost just did it there. So you really want to be careful here with this because it is really sharp. There we go. We got it through. So I've already gone ahead and done it to my other 2 signatures. So these are all done. And now I can get my thread and start to sew these in. So I don't know if you can see this needle here. Try and get it focused. There. So I've got a pretty thick needle here, and I want the eye of the needle to be pretty big because I'm going to use floss. Now you can use floss that has been waxed. I have done that in the past, and I still do sometimes use that. But either way, you want to use something that's going to be really strong. Okay. So I'm going to start in the middle of my first signature. I didn't tie off my needle, and I'm literally just going to thread it through. I want to give a lot of length here. I want to leave a lot hanging. Then I'm going to come back through with my needle. So I started on the top hole. I'm going to come back in through the middle hole into the center. See, that didn't poke right through properly. There we go. You have to be a little bit delicate with it. So I always do the journal pages first and then go into the journal. I just find it easier for me that way. Okay, I'm going to pull that all the way tight. I'm going to make sure that that's nice and tight. I'm going to pull the second thread through, and I'm going to go back in through the center. Now you have to be a bit careful here, because you don't want to go through the thread, just because it makes the thread a little funny. And this last part's a little bit tricky, and if it doesn't come through perfect, that's okay. All right, so I've given myself a lot of thread just to be safe. So I want to make sure that it's tight here. I want to make sure it's tight here, and I want to make sure it's tight there. Okay, sometimes it can get looped around, and then when you tie your knot, you don't want it to be so tight that it can't move, but you don't want it to be loose either. So you want to give it a little bit of tension. I do a triple knot usually, and then I give that a little trim. Oh, I don't like the way that looked. There we go. Then I can take off my bobby pins, and I have my first signature sewn in. Okay, so I have my 3 signatures sewed in there. I used 2 light greens and 1 in the middle as a darker green to go with kind of the theme here. And here is my journal. It's so exciting! I really like this one a lot. I feel like it means a little bit more since I created some of the papers for it. It's so exciting. I really like this one. So this is a Bambi journal. I just am going to quickly go through it. I will go through and add some little pieces from the book that I still have left, and I'll put in, you know, some flaps, and maybe on some of these black pages I'll add some extra ephemera from my shop. We can cut these out and put them in, so I will still be doing that, but this is the book so far. Looks pretty good. Let me know what you think.